didgeridoos and played them and made them to give a real live demonstration. So we are so lucky today. This is Amelia's dad. I don't know if you guys know him.
And Mr. Grupp.
So Mr. Grupp's here
Is that
today,
Tony?
and
Hey, Tony.
he makes didgeridoos. He plays them, and he's got a story to tell us, right?
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff.
Please welcome him.
So, you know Amelia? I'm Amelia's dad. And, yeah, I play didgeridoos. Everybody thought it was kind of weird at first, but I've been doing it for a few years now, and now people seem to like it, it seems. Let me just play one for you so you can hear it. I can have a lot to tell you about. This is one that I made right here. And I name each one based on something going on in my life. And this one's called the seraph. Some of you might know that a seraph is a type of angel that has 6 wings in the Bible. So let me play this one and then we can talk more about it. Put it up here actually. Ready? Here we go. See if I have a drum or something with me. It's let me just play you this other one here first, and I can talk more about it. One thing you notice though is the size of didgeridoo and its mouthpiece. Look at that mouthpiece. This actually was okay. So let me just start explaining here. This didgeridoo is just simply PVC pipe from Lowe's. Okay, costs about $10 to make, and man, it sounds good. It's low and powerful. All these are. This one, a guy in Romania made for me that I bought off Facebook. He's a Facebook friend of mine. I've got a bunch of didgeridoo players around the world that I'm Facebook friends with. And he made that one for me. He sold it to me for a steal. All he did is he found a really cool branch, cut it in half, hollowed it out, and then you can see a line right here. I'll show you in a minute. He just glued it back together. It makes an incredible didgeridoo sound. That's one way didgeridoos are made. But this one, I was making a lot of didgeridoos over the last few years out of PVC pieces from Lowe's. And I just had a bunch of junky old parts around that I didn't think I wanted. So I just threw them together and made this didgeridoo, and it's one of my absolute favorite ones. And the reason is because the way a didgeridoo is shaped, its size, how big around, its mouthpiece and so forth, determines how you can play it. For example, this one here, I need much more air to play. It's got a huge mouthpiece. See that right there? How big that mouthpiece is? That one, well, okay. It's a little bit bigger. This probably doesn't look that much bigger, but see, this one is close right, like in that part right there. So it makes it easier to play. I can do more with it. So you just heard me play this one, and I was just kind of going like that. But listen to this one here. I can do so much more on this one. So this one is about as fun to play as possible. Now, I've never really played in front of people, so I'm kind of thinking about playing while I'm playing. If you don't think, the bit more relaxed you are, and the more you don't think, the better you can play the didgeridoo.
Just don't think about it.
Yeah, that's the art. I'm a drummer too. You can see him, doing this. You can play drums at the same time. Actually, let me. I'll play that in a minute. Song that I made. But so the way it works with breathing is, when I started playing, I just was watching people on YouTube from Australia, Aborigines and so forth, and it took me a long time just to get a sound. And the way you do it is you just go. See, I can do it with my mouth now. See how it's continuous sound? Doesn't sound very good. It sounds like something, But it took me a long time to realize that the more relaxed I am, the better the sound can be. So I can just now, on pretty much anything, a garden hose or anything, I can just go. I can just immediately make a sound. But it took a long time for me to even be able to go like this. Wait. So when I first started playing, I just was happy to get to that point. And then, as soon as I could get one note, my goal is to learn the circular breathing. When you're continually blowing out through your mouth, but you're breathing in. Most people You know, and like,
You can circulate.
oh yeah. Every time, let me demonstrate now.
Yeah.
Every time I go like this with my finger, I'll be breathing in through my nose. And I'll explain how you do it in just a second. Let me put it up here in order to do that. And you'll probably hear me, you know, doing that a little bit. So here we go. See, so sometimes you can get a lot of breath, then you can really do a long note. So you can get a long breath sometimes, and you can really, when you do, you can really belt it out, and then you can use your voice. Like let me just take a big breath rather than get one through my nose. Just. See, you can do different sounds when you have a big breath. You can exhale. All I'm doing there to make those sounds is using my voice. I'm just singing into it. You can even do words, like, see if you can tell what this says. Did anybody tell what I said?
No.
Peace and love, I said. Let me try it again, make it a little more clear. Let me, I purposely try not to make it super clear. But let me see if I can do it clear through this one. Now, each of these didgeridoos have names, as I said a minute ago. This one's called Genesis Didg because it has something to do with I'm a Christian, and it has something to do with my Christian life was really going good. At the time I made this didgeridoo, and this didgeridoo, like I said a minute ago, it turned out, I couldn't believe this, you know, junk pile of parts I had turned into one of my favorite didgeridoos. This one, as I said, is called the Seraph Angel. This one is called the Flower Didg for obvious reasons, because this is just a sort of flower garden. You know, I just wanted to kind of be a jungle of flowers, but if you look close, there's creatures and spaceships and stuff. So it's like this little secret world. It's pretty cool, I think.
Painted that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all these I painted, well, this one, the only one I didn't make is this. I've got about 20 of these, and I've made all but 3. And some of them are even more intricate than this, like didg, the big one with the curl at the end. Sorry. And, so this one, yeah, this has a triple bell. I've never seen anybody else anywhere on the internet or anything with a triple bell didgeridoo. So I was pretty happy when I put this one up, and a lot of people in the didgeridoo community I'm friends with were like, oh, that's cool, good idea. But this one's called Star Mind for a number of reasons to do with my personal life. And this is one of my favorites. It has a really good sound. And I'll use my voice again and try to see if you can, first I'll go, well, let me just play this one for you first. So what I was doing with that one is just going woo and ooh like that. But so let me demonstrate how that works. So that really adds a lot. You can almost make songs out of that by going different pitches. So if I go ooh, it sounds like this. And a lot of Aborigines incorporate that sound. So when you hear a lot of Aborigines, they'll do things like this. For some reason they like that sound. They like to imitate animals. I think probably a lot of you know that from your teacher telling you. I believe Amelia was saying that. And they know all the animal sounds and so forth. I don't really know how to do most of those because that's specific to their culture. I'm more into making music. I'll play you one of my songs in a minute. The first one that we made. So now if I make a low sound, it sounds like this. I like the low sounds quite a bit in the didgeridoo. If you really close your eyes and listen, it's really an amazing, peaceful sound. So that's why I got into didgeridoos, because I've got a strange fascination with low-sounding instruments. When I was in my 20s, I played the cello for quite a while. I'm a drummer. You know, a lot of drums are real. My drum set is an emphasis on large or low-sounding drums. And then I remember one time when I used to live in Ann Arbor, the church we went to there, the minister. I remember one time he said, we was talking about the organs. You know, I love the organ and I love the low-sounding notes. I was like, that's it. He said they're real soothing. Something about low-sounding notes is very peaceful, in my opinion. And that's this didgeridoo. I've got ones that are actually lower than this, but this is getting pretty low. When you get too much lower than this, they really are hard to play, and you can't, because I can't do as much on this one. But listen how low this one is. It's bad I don't have a drum here or something. I'll explain breathing again in just a second, but let me play you a song. This is at least the first part of it that I made, actually with the help of Amelia's sister Chloe helped me make this song. Let's see here. Hang on 1 second. Well, let me play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play that way?
Yeah, let me play this guy. This guy is
It's not a touch screen, unfortunately.
oh, it isn't. Oh, okay, I see. That's what I got it right here.
Yeah.
Okay, let me play you.
Thank you.
Let me play you this guy, and then I'll play you my song. Here's this is just some Australian Aborigine at the Blue Mountains in Australia playing, and this guy is jamming. Listen to this. Waving to people and everything. He's all comfortable. Listen, that's jamming right there. He's doing the dog sound. That's very, very experienced playing right there. You got a beat going. Look at this. This guy next to him. Tourist. Kind of funny. So let me play on that note. Let me play you a song that I made, which is called "Peace and Love." And you hear my wife is actually the narrator in the song. But let's turn this one up, because this song, I think, is one of my favorite songs that I made.
Peace.
Yes, so, okay, thanks. So that's this dig right here. Right here.
Peace.
Real good hum. You have headphones on real loud, it really sounds good. You're like, so I'm screaming it right there. And now I'm using this one right here. Right there.
Your purpose
This song is called Peace and Love, but it's based on Psalm 150. You know, praising with the trumpets and going crazy and loud and everything. So, and then next one you get.
created to live in peace, joy, and celebration.
Anyway, the next one I think is this one. Yeah, like I said, I'm a drummer also. This is me playing the drums, obviously not at the same
Brokenness
time.
is joyfulness.
Yeah, this is this one right here. Starlight. So anyway, I got some of my theological stuff in there for inspiration. Sort of make like a music video. And
You have a YouTube channel?
say again?
You have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's called Didg. That's me.
Yeah, you wanna grab the light standards?
I don't have that much. I've got another song and then the rest of this one. But let me explain to you about breathing. This one is actually very hard to play. I'm not sure why. It's a weird thing. When I made some of these didgeridoos, like with these two specifically, I was just kind of using chants. You know, just when I would take a piece of PVC from Lowe's, and I would melt it over the oven. I would go, heat it up over the gas stove. It would become real supple, and I would just take a wet washcloth and just squeeze it like this to make it smaller, so it was a small enough mouthpiece. And in the end, I found out the best way to do it, to make the best mouthpiece, is just completely random, where it turns out all crazy like this. You can make a perfect circular one, you can't play as good. That's what this one is. So what I do is do what the Aborigines do, is you get some beeswax, put it on here, and you mold it into the shape, whatever shape you want. Then you can make a good mouthpiece. But this one still is kind of difficult to play, but it has really good sound for a homemade didgeridoo. So let me see it. Good sound. it illustrates how you can use words and so forth. Now this one here, let me explain breathing to you a little more with this one here. So this is the one my friend from Romania made. This is a real one. These are I like homemade stuff, and I don't have to have it. Didgeridoos being so spectacular and $1,000 each. I like this vibe here, but this one here would be considered a real didg, and it's got spectacular sound. Let me see, put it up here. So you can tell the difference between plastic and wood if you listen to this right here. So,
That's cool.
this one, I can illustrate, yeah.
Why do you keep on looking at it in it every time?
I don't know. I'm always fascinated with the shape, the protuberance of it. It's something, I had a didgeridoo that I made that was curled, and I ended up breaking it apart and using the pieces for a straight didgeridoo. I like the idea of, I'm a shooter. I shoot guns a lot, and it's something to do with the similar fascination of the protuberance of a gun, the protuberance of a didgeridoo. So I'm always, I don't know. When you play these, I'm always playing these late at night and so forth, and you become very fascinated with the sound and so forth. When I first started playing them, I wasn't sure if, this is sort of a Christian thing to do. And I remember I prayed quite a bit, just to make sure I wasn't delving into something that wasn't specifically Christian. And I was definitely led to, keep going, and this is no problem. And I found that what this does, if you play this with your eyes closed, it becomes extremely restful. And I found it puts me in a real good state of prayer and faith and so forth. And I found the Australian Aborigines with their didgeridoo playing report the same thing. Of course, they don't worship the same God and so forth, but they report, it's really a relaxation technique. It really puts, in my opinion, puts one in a good state for prayer and so forth. Tony.
You do play this in church.
Yeah, I signed up for the talent show.
Oh, good.
Yeah. My wife and I are like, I don't know, 'cause people think it's kind of weird, but whatever. Yeah.
So the other ones, are those like made out of like plastic and that one's made out of wood?
Yep, I just got these pieces at Lowe's. The beeswax here is from Amelia's grandma Grupp. She's a beekeeper, and she gave me some wax to, some of my didgeridoos have wax tops, just to mold the mouthpiece to make it better. But yeah, these, you can just go to Lowe's and connect pieces however you want. I remember I would get a whole bunch of, I'd spend $50 and get a whole bunch of pieces and experiment, just put them together before gluing them up and sealing them and so forth, just to see what sound I wanted. Now, let me say one thing, specifically, you might find this interesting. You might be wondering, what in the world's all this stuff here? All these drawings and so forth. Now this one, about a year ago, I had a real interesting, vivid dream of an angel. And it had this mask on it. In Ephesians 5, it talks about the spiritual war and so forth that's going on all over the place unseen. And it seemed like the angel was enveloped in that because it had like this war helmet on or something. And interestingly, its wings were making this vibration sound that sounded exactly like a didgeridoo. I said, oh, I've got to make a didgeridoo that mimics that. And that's where this didgeridoo came from. So what I did is I just took pieces until I got the right sound, and here it is. Yeah?
Me?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to make them?
Oh, not long. The first one I made, took a long time because I didn't know what I was doing. That one's not here. That's the big brown one I call Hyperspace. I got the hang of it a little bit and really how to make mouthpieces and so forth, and it doesn't take long at all. You could make one and just go get pieces, hook them up. You don't even need a bell if you don't want it. And then melt it and make a mouth, squeeze it, make a mouthpiece, and you're ready. You just file it down so it's smooth, it doesn't cut your mouth, and you're ready to go. Make sure you don't breathe into PVC in or anything if you file it down. Anybody else have a question? Yeah, Redmond.
Okay. So, what's your favorite didgeridoo?
Oh yeah, good. My favorite didgeridoo in the world is not here. It's called Deep Logos, and it was from a very significant time in my life. It took 6 weeks to paint it. It's got spaceships and all kinds of cool stuff all over it. And but it's probably about a foot long. It's about the same height as the seraph here, much thicker, and it hums. See, if you have a didgeridoo that's thin like this, you have the sound that's called the drone. You can hear that. This didgeridoo can make 3 sounds at once. It's like a dolphin. You can make more than one sound at once. Now, if you hear, this is called the drone. that vibration. Now this one, try to listen to this one here. The thicker you get with a didgeridoo, the more of another sound enters, which is like a hum, like a woo. So you can have the drone and the woo. I don't know what the other sound's called. At the same time, try to see if you can listen here. That, yeah, really, I don't know if any of these will illustrate that well, but that didgeridoo has an incredible deep bass to it. Just this, the drone is almost secondary to the hum. And I didn't bring it because I was just so panicked about letting it out of the house because it's my prized possession. But then the third sound you can make, obviously, is your voice. So you can make, like a dolphin, like I said, can make, I think, 3 sounds at once. You all can't, you can make, well, you could probably click and talk maybe at the same time you're practicing. You somehow could do that, but yeah, exactly. But didgeridoo, you can definitely make 3 sounds at once easy. Yeah, back.
Me?
Yeah.
Does it take you that long to paint it?
Oh, this one took a couple weeks. This one just is a slop job, but that's what I wanted. I wanted this one to be just kind of throwing paint all over the place. You can see pictures in there if you look close. Like here's a flower. There's a cross. There's 3 crosses at the top for the the hill. 1, 2, 3. See if you look close there, but not that long. It's something I like to do late at night and so forth. Tony.
What does it say on the end of the black line?
Oh, it's seraph.
Oh.
Just the name of it. Most of them might have the name on it. So like I said, I think in Isaiah, seraph angel has 6 wings and is the angel closest to God, I believe, when he sits on his throne. But let me talk about breathing a little bit. Let me get the big. This one I call the prayer didge because it was kind of expensive and I wasn't sure if I should buy it or not. So I prayed and then I got a price reduction. I was like, should I buy it or not? Then I get this big price reduction. I'm like, oh, well, that's answered. So I call it the prayer ditch. I called it tree branch at first, but now I call it the prayer ditch. But the way you do, actually, I'll illustrate breathing with this one here. So the way breathing is done is, let me move this back here. Okay, so it's real simple. Breathing has kind of evolved through time with me. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
On the wooden one, are you gonna paint that?
I thought about it, but I think I'm gonna leave it. I like it just looking. That looks a lot like the real ones in Australia. Just they just take some tree branch hollowed out by ants, termites, and start blowing. They clean it out and blowing it, and they're playing. So I kind of like this has a real authentic feel. Yeah.
What did you say they were made out of, the metal ones?
Oh, this is PVC plastic from Lowe's. Just go to the plumbing section if you want to make one. Longer, the deeper, the wider, the more of a hum it has. The thinner, the more of a drone it has. Yeah, tell me.
So you can just put them together and you can play it, or do you have to how do you?
Nah, you can just. I before even sealing them up with the what's it called, PVC glue. I would even at Lowe's. I remember Amelia would be with me sometime. We'd get all the didgeridoo parts out. We would test them at Lowe's so I could see what pieces I wanted to buy. People would be walking by going, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Anybody ever go to Australia and make one out of trees?
Oh, I'd like to. When I walk in the forest with my family, sometimes I'm looking around for the right branch so I can see on the ground. Someday I'll probably make one out of a branch myself, just as long as I see the right branch. But in Australia, yeah, you can just find them laying on the ground or sticking up, and you can go and tap them. Just find out they're hollow, and if you've got the Aborigines can just walk up to a tree or a branch on the ground and tap it and know what they've got. Yeah.
How do you know if they're hollow right now?
Well, when you tap them, they'll make the tree would make a sound like this, which will sound different than something solid. They apparently have experience where they know the solid versus the proper, not just hollow, but the proper hollowness to make a good didge. They know what it'll sound like and so forth. There's a book I'm reading about didgeridoos, and this fellow from Europe goes out in the desert with the Aborigines, and they're looking at eucalyptus trees, and they're choosing, and they can spot from way in the distance, oh, that's the tree way over there, and he's like, which tree? You can hardly see it, and they know that's the right one, so they're really experienced in this. Yeah?
Are the good trees in Australia, or can you just find a tree?
Anywhere. This is just some hunk of wood from Romania that this fellow grabbed. See, it's real thick. See how thick that is? That means it's going to have more of the drone. If you have I've got one at home that's made out of bamboo. It's incredibly thin, and it has a real hum, like a to it. It's got an amazing sound. So different ways they're made lead to all different ways they sound. Yeah, Tony, or sorry, next to Tony.
Okay. My name's Christian, but.
Oh yeah, I've heard about you. Amelia's told me about you. Go ahead. Good.
Okay. I sort of a bottom.
Wait, start over.
Like, on that one, you always put like wide bottom or like 3 or 4
Oh, just for appearance, I've got one at home that's actually about 3 feet longer than this. It's all gray, which doesn't have a bell on it. It's just a big pole, and it's so deep it's really hard to play. I'm still trying to learn how to do the breathing. So with the breathing, what you do, well, when you start off, what you want to do is you want to take air in your mouth, like that, and you want to try to squeeze it out to make a sound. Now, it took me forever to learn how to do this, just to get one, Notice I can totally exhale. So I'm making a sound without breathing it out. And it took me so long to figure out how to, what you want to do is you want to be playing, and then every once in a while breathing through your nose while going like that. So when I first started playing, I was really doing a lot of this like that. But now, I don't know how it happened, but now I don't really do a lot of that. My cheeks are mainly, I'm almost doing it more from here. I don't know how. That's apparently how they do it in Australia. So let me see if you can watch as I do this here. This is a good one to illustrate on because I need the most air for this big one. So you can see me moving around the most and stuff with my mouth. Hang on. Okay, here we go. See, I actually have to get it up not for you, but for me, so it's at a better angle to play better. So you can see it expand a little bit. To be honest, I used to play, let me try to show how when I was learning what I'd do. I'd go. See, I can't even do it now. See how my cheeks are going in and pushing air out? But like I said, somehow through time, without even knowing it, I just learned how to do it. The Aborigines always make fun of people in the Western world saying, people over in Europe and America, they always play with their cheeks, but Aborigines play with their chest. And that's somehow, I think that just happens with experience because somehow I've learned how to do that through time. So you can see my cheeks don't move much. Let me play with the Genesis didg because you can really jam on this thing. All right, here we go. Yeah.
Okay, 2 things.
Uh-huh.
So how to play that big, long, 3-foot gray one? You could glue an air compressor hose to it, and those ones where you pull and then this goes out. You could do that.
What I think I need to do is make it smaller so I don't have the bigger the hole to breathe through, the harder to play. I need to make it, small.
Or you could get an air compressor hose, put it up your nose, and then you could just do that.
That's a good idea.
Not giving you air while
There we
you
go.
keep on playing.
Very good. So, there's a couple other things I'm going to mention here. Okay, breathing, making a didg, handle sounds. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to show you is a lot of times, there's a video I have, but I can just show you here. A lot of times people play into a wall or something because it amplifies the sound. So while I do that at home, I do it in the fireplace. And my baby boy, who's 1.5 years old, he walks around going, because that's what he learned to call these things ah-ahs. He doesn't call them didgeridoos, because I think it's the only sound he can make. Let me.
Teachers again.
see.
Wait, put it up against that wall. The art teacher will be really
Yeah, let me try it over here.
He'll be really happy.
Let me try it right here.
No, she'll get very mad.
Actually, they know what it is, because some of the kids came over to ask what the sound was.
Okay, here you go. See, now compare that to, I don't know if it'll sound different for you or not. See, it's slower sound. That's what, a lot of times you'll see an Aborigine in Australia, they'll be pointing this thing right into a boulder or something, so there's just a small area. You're thinking, why are they doing that? Because the sound amplifies really well, the didgeridoo, back on you, and it really makes a better experience. Yeah? Oh, good question. I have a big one. I have a couple of biggies. One's called, the biggest one I have is called the Creator. It's a huge gold one. It's about 16 feet long, and the end of it is about that big. But I think it's 12 inches, and it's so big. It's actually, I can't play it much, because I usually play at night, and I can't play because I always wake my wife up 3 stories above us, and I wake the baby up as well. Not the drone, but the hum. The hum is
Yeah.